Real estate agents are entrepreneurs, even though sometimes they might not realize it. So let's talk about what can real estate agents do to survive this amazing kind of topsy-turvy changing market? What are like the top 3 things they need to do and know?
Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day.
Hello. It's Jennifer Hammond, and I'm so excited. I have my guest here, Jason Avery. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Jennifer. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so excited. You have an amazing resume, but I want to jump right into it. You've worked with lots of entrepreneurs. Real estate agents are entrepreneurs, even though sometimes they might not realize it. So let's talk about what can real estate agents do to survive this amazing kind of topsy-turvy changing market? What are like the top 3 things they need to do and know?
Well, first off, what are you doing to set yourself apart from all the competition? Because there's all this competition. There's so many realtors. I think everybody knows 4 or 5 of them. So what makes you set apart? When I go to home shows for construction, I'd wear a yellow hard hat to stand out because, people might not remember my name after they talk to 8 other guys, but at least they're going to remember, hey, that guy in the yellow hard hat. So definitely I'd say that's step number 1. What are you doing to stand out? Step 2, narrow your target market. And are you trying to be everything to everybody? I used to think if I fix somebody's toilet, maybe later on they'll call me back when they want a big remodel. No, those people don't never call back. It's a different demographic, a different target. The person who repairs something is not the same as the person who says, okay, just tear it out, put a new one in, let's do all this update while we're at it. It's a different demographic. So you got to know, who are we after? Who do we want to work with first? You got to determine that for yourself. And then ultimately, how are we going to speak to them? And then how are you sharing and communicating your message? Are you making it simple for people to understand? And this comes from the first 2. This is the byproduct of the first 2. Being able to convey such a clear and concise message so that people know your customer when they see them walking by. They know based on what they heard or what they saw exactly that person's fit for you and how to make the connection. Did you tell them how to follow it up? It's a call to action. So I think these are probably the top 3 in my book.
I think that's fantastic. Number 1, I think that the most important thing that you just said is so often real estate agents are trying to be everything to everybody because they're like, well, I'll just take anybody out there. And that's really not there's a couple things about that. And I'd love to dig a little bit deeper in that. One of the things that I know about that in real estate, like for instance, if you decide you want to make your niche first-time home buyers, it's a completely different buyer than, for instance, somebody who's either moving up or it might be somebody who just got back from military and they're a veteran. That's a completely different buyer than the first-time home buyer. So understanding everything about that particular niche. And I have a friend of mine in DC and his niche is modern homes. It's not a niche of the client. It's a niche of the actual property that he sells. He loves modern homes. He loves to, list them. He loves to bring buyers to it, but he knows everything you can possibly know. He knows the major architects that have defined it. They've defined that. So how can somebody really figure out what is their niche?
I often say, start with your current client lists and look and see who's on there already. Who have you already been able to help? And then think about those scenarios. Is there anything in common? Is there a way we can connect the dots and say, hey, whenever this scenario comes together, they're bilingual and on the water and in this sector of town and between this age category, they tend to always buy. That really helps us start to understand, who we're servicing, who is most interested in us at this time. So we could start with that, similarities, and then we can also start to figure out what do we want it to be. And who was my favorite client to work with? They were the easiest. I liked working with them because they were an out-of-town client. Or I liked working with them because, I like seeing the young couple and the joy and the spirit in their face and the new baby. Or is it, I enjoy working with retirees to find that last home, that dream home. And so there could be different reasons. Maybe you want to work with veterans, but who do you enjoy working with the most? and what's going to make you most fulfilled. So when you go to work every day, you're excited about it instead of feeling like, oh gosh, I got to deal with that one cranky lady that I've hated dealing with, and she's been sucking up all my time for months. And that's what happened. We try to be everything to everybody, and we feel like, well, but I'm new. I'm a little desperate. I need the work. I got to just take whatever I can get. Well, once you take that one that's less than perfect, and then it becomes that time just keep bogging you down, you're less and less available to be attracting and capturing the ones that you really wanted. So sometimes we have to be willing to let go and say, I'm okay not helping this customer. Now, in my world, I would never tell somebody just no. What I would do is take advantage of this opportunity to create a referral for somebody else. I'd find that other realtor that maybe really wants it or really needs it and say, hey, why don't you have this client? That realtor loves me for sending them a referral, and maybe one day they'll send me one back. Or there's other things we can do that help each other out along the way. We're all industry professionals, right? We can all, find the right person, the right time for the right need. Who are you getting the referrals from? I mean, your mother. My mother sends me referrals. I love it when mom refers me, but how often is mom exposed to the grand opportunity for me, the perfect remodel at the perfect time before somebody else got there and already, locked it down under a contract? So mom's done pretty good with the Pinochle group. I got to give her that, but she's not exposed to it. An architect or an interior designer, they're exposed to the same projects I'm exposed to day in, day out. And maybe I can't estimate every project these people come up with, but could I have a handful of them? Could I have them call me when they knew the time was right? Because, these are the ones that he really loves working with. And the more, it's not even just about that I love working with them. The more you focus on that group, you become the expert of the industry. And again, that's creating your identity, what makes you stand out in front of the rest of the group. And it helps people really flag the opportunities, because they say, oh, you're trying to do it through a VA loan? Oh, this is the person that specializes in VA. You've got to deal with it. Or, so you have special needs, or you have, again, waterfront versus inner city versus, age groups can make a big difference, demographic. And you're probably not going to be able to serve everybody. So why don't you figure out who you want to serve most, and let's figure out how we get to those people.
I think that's great advice. Again, what is it when you look back at the clients that you've had before? Who are the people that you enjoyed the most? Was it the first-time home buyers? Were the veterans? Was it? And I'm going to lead right into. I'd love for you to tell a little bit about your background, and especially because one of the niches that I have, a lot of times real estate agents come to me and they are very interested in just serving this community, and that's the real estate investor community. But they need to have a really good relationship with a contractor, not only a general contractor, but understanding what the subs are. So will you talk a little bit about your background and how can that dovetail into making an expert more real estate agent, not only more of an expert, but also more of a powerful referral master in that way?
Sure. So first off, I worked 25 years in the home improvement industry. I helped make other people successful in their businesses. I started my own in 2011, Avery Construction. In the beginning, it was 3 guys doing labor and a bookkeeper working 1 day a week. Now there's 50 people working every day. There's a complete administrative team, people that are designing and selling high-end remodels on the water, on the golf course, behind the gate. That company doesn't necessarily serve the investment opportunities, but we know all the resources in town, and we love to create these referrals for other people. So we're happy to make those connections. Besides Avery Construction, about 6 years ago, I wrote a book. I got a #1 bestseller, Constructing Success, Blueprints for Referral Based Business. And it speaks to all entrepreneurs about relationships with people over periods of time. Obviously, in the construction world, that time can be stressful. When the client lives at a construction site, the emotions go up and down, up and down. It's gruesome to get through it and have a client still love you at the end and want to tell a good story and be happy to refer you to their friends. As to real estate too, we need.
I would say it's very similar to a real estate agent. Do they love you at the end or not? They might not.
So that stemmed off a coaching, speaking, consulting leg to me. I do go out and speak to large groups of people. Sometimes it's just volunteering some of my time to inspire and motivate the masses. I do teach specific classes about behavioral styles and how it applies to networking. I teach classes building your empire, your growth. How do you identify who the people are, how to get them, how to motivate them, how do we get that thing to grow so that you position yourself to work on the business instead of in the business. And this is true to real estate. I know some really good realtors around town who have a team of people. And they're not out there trying to run every lead themselves. They're having the team do that, but they're certainly handling that really high-end gemstone over on the water. So, this can be done in any environment. We can build a team around us just to at least compartmentalize the time. If my time's worth 150 to 250 an hour, but I spend my time doing remedial tasks that I could have paid $10, $20, $30 an hour for, I'm costing myself money while I'm doing it. It's silly. And so trying to teach entrepreneurs to be willing to outsource, whether you hire the person or whether you use the outsource company, the resource for that. So I also custom cabinet factory that builds custom cabinets for contractors. We don't try and sell to the retail in that business. We just simply service regular accounts with architects and interior designers. We're figuring out how to take our best referral partners and weave them in a little something for everybody. It's the big tangled web I've woven, but it works, and it's a system that keeps building and growing on itself now. And as I free up time, I keep opening up more businesses. The next venture is going to be to help my wife. We just bought commercial property and we're building out. Of course, big renovation. That's my trick. And then we're going to have a spa in the Brooksville area. It's going to be lots of bougie women's stuff that they will love, massage and salt rock and infrared. So if you want to sum that all up into a couple of words, I'm a serial entrepreneur.
And I think that most real estate agents in that way are serial entrepreneurs. So they can learn so much from you in that the basics are the basics. Make sure you have a niche, just like your salon. You have this amazing niche. If you're gonna be known for your salt and the laser lights and having a beautiful aesthetic construction done so that, again, people want to go there. It's a paradise. You create that niche, and that's why people keep coming back and they refer others.
My wife is one of my toughest customers. She's got great taste, I'll tell you that.
I think it's so much fun when you get that chance to actually work together and build something together. So well done, Jason.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm happy to help anybody who needs the help. And I live a spirit of giver's gain. And anybody who wants to reach out, just do a one-to-one. I pick my brain. I'm happy to do that. But there are, again, other deeper learning opportunities out there. I really realized about a decade ago that, I didn't know what I didn't know. And learning is a lifelong commitment. You got to keep growing. You got to keep more education. And really, I could be, an all-star, baseball player. I still probably need a coach. And I still probably need somebody to help me critique my techniques and really fine tune. And so, again, I highly encourage people, you can reach more about me at construct-success.com.
So say it again one more time.
It's construct-success.com.
Perfect. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Jason, for being with us. And of course, as you know, we want to end every single one of the episodes by lifting your voice and saying yay with me. Is that okay?
That is great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Yay!
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may